It really makes my truck look like a baby. It dwarfs it in size because this has a set of custom-made BBS wheels. I don't know what happened. It didn't make like a... All right, guys, what's going on? It's Tommy from Galpin Autosports. We have David here on our second camera. We're gonna go do a quick walk around in the shop. Over here, we have a Gen 2 Raptor. This is a 2020 that we're gonna put the E-Click system on. So E-Click system is made by SDI. What this kit does is, this kit allows you to control the electronic shocks that you have on the truck, even more so than the factory settings allow you to. The factory gives you 1 or 2 modes. It's like your Baja, normal, and sport mode. That's it, pretty much. You have dirt and gravel, but you're not really gonna use those regularly. So you have 3 workable modes, where E-Click allows you to have an additional 3, and then in each one of those 3 modes, you can control stuff individually. You can control the stiffness and softness of your front shocks together, the rear shocks independently, your pitch and roll, so front and back, if you accelerate, if you don't want to lean back too much, or the dive when you brake. It allows you to dial it in quite well, and I really like the system. I have it on my truck, and I'm a huge fan of it. So any customers that come in with a Raptor, all I gotta do is I throw them my keys and say, take my truck for a drive, and 9 times out of 10, it's worked every time actually, 10 times out of 10 technically, they've come back and said, I'm sold, I'll take it. So we're doing an SDI system on this truck. You can see some brake lines in here. The client wanted better braking, so we're doing stainless steel braided brake lines, upgraded pads to get a better stop on there, and performance fluid. So that's gonna get done on this truck. So you can see the stainless lines go, there you go. Rotora was the brand that we got the lines from. And so they run all the way down here. So it's really nice because Rotora has everything factory, you know, it's just like factory, so very OEM. You don't have any issues. So you guys have seen us do a couple Carly kits by now, and this Super Duty has a Carly kit on it. It has a 5.5-inch pin top, a Carly kit that pretty much has all the goodies on it, but you can see it compared to my truck. It really makes my truck look like a baby. It dwarfs it in size. It's a good probably 6 inches taller, if not more. And we're running, actually no, he's running bigger tires than me as well, because I'm running 37s, and I think he's running 38s. So not only tires is bigger, 1 inch bigger tire, the body of it sits higher too. You can see every point of it, my mirrors, the door handles, everything, and the roof line. So technically, fun fact is the cab, so where you sit in these trucks is the exact same between the 2 trucks. The only difference is the front end, obviously the engine and the beds, but the cab portion is identical. So when you sit inside, if you do the measurements, Ford used the same cab, but you can definitely see that totally different trucks. These are meant to tow and haul, but Carly, they do a great job of making a kit for this truck to make it perform and handle more like what a Raptor would. Again, it's not exactly gonna be a Raptor, but it's way, way better than what a Super Duty would normally handle like, because again, they're not meant to go off-road, they're just meant to tow. Here we are. So this week we got 2 deliveries of GTs. So clients have their GTs delivered. We're gonna be wrapping them in paint protection film, but quite nice. And that one you can see has BBS wheels on it. So it's a little bit different than the normal ones we always see, because this has a set of custom-made BBS wheels. And you can see BBS has gone the weight savings into a whole new level by doing these pockets out here. And these wheels were specifically made for this GT. It's not like we took wheels made for another car. All right, so the other GT that was delivered this week was this one. Beautifully spec'd, white with exposed carbon, red accents. You got a red pinstripe going down the middle, red calipers, carbon fiber brakes, titanium lug nuts. You got the Akrapovic exhaust. Yeah, very, very nice. So this is David's car. Came in for some service, so we're getting it ready for him. You ready to take it home? David loves this thing. He can do his events in them. He has room for his gear in the back. And yeah, he looks really good in it. Wind blowing in his hair. This is our SEMA Bronco. The guys here are trying some new stuff. We're just trying to, you know, change it up a little. So Robert and Miguel, they put this little stripe on there with the Bronco logo. Looks pretty cool. And then we're gonna try something with the whole mountain landscape, if you will. So just changing it up, trying new things to be able to provide you guys with cool and new ideas. By the way, did you get a haircut? You did get a haircut. Look at this guy looking all fresh. So here's a little sneak peek for you guys. Behind me, I have an Undefeated Defender that we're working on. As you guys might have heard, we've already done a collaboration with them, which resulted in 2 vehicles that we built, a 90 Defender and a 110 Defender. And behind me is round 2. So we have another 2-door 90 Defender that we're gonna be completely customizing out to their specs, and we're excited to get this one kicked off. So it's gonna be really loud in there, but, so I'm not gonna take you guys in there, but this car is gonna be completely redone, gonna be completely repainted. Right next to it, you guys will see that the G-Wagon that we're working on. The paneling and everything has been blown apart. Everything's being sanded. The interior is completely stripped. There is some rust repair that we need to do on the passenger side floorboard. So right in that area, that whole panel has to get replaced. But we're excited to get this thing along on its way too and get painted. Look at this thing. So this is what a paint correction can really do. It just really restores the paint. Look at the bumpers. No, this wasn't painted. Manny paint corrected it. It took him about a week and a half worth of time, but he paint corrected it. And like, this thing is, again, there's still imperfections in the paint, like where there's paint missing or there's chips, that's still gonna be there. But look at this thing, like, that's why paint corrections cost what they do. But, and again, the interior, Manny just detailed, it's not a paint correction on the interior, but this thing looks beautiful. I think he did a very, very nice job of it. Again, you just have paint damage. That's not gonna fix that, but overall, yeah, looks beautiful. Here's another Bronco in for some work. So I don't know if you guys remember this truck, but a couple months back, we posted on our social media of this white Raptor just going airborne. And getting a lot of air. It wasn't intentional. The client didn't think he was gonna go so fast and hit the obstacle so hard, but he did, and this baby flew. And now we're doing some upgrades. Well, not that it was related, but yeah, he flew, he stuck the landing, truck was fine for the most part. And then now he's just doing more upgrades. So now what we're doing is SVC's mid-travel suspension kit. Just looking at these arms, these are your upper control arms, those are your lower control arms, fully boxed. Just beautiful pieces. Like, these things are works of art. At least to me they are. You have your spindles or your uprights, depending on who you ask, different names for them. But this whole thing, just the welding and everything they've done is beautiful. This mid-travel kit, as we call it, extends or pushes out the front suspension by 3 inches on each side. So now that you're sitting wider 3 inches on each side, you're gonna need longer axles. And then you have tie rods that are gonna go on it. Like, look at this hardware. So hardware, you can see the grade on it by these markings out here. So this is the highest grade. Hey Tim, this is not grade 8, is it?
6 lines means grade 8.
Huh? Oh, is it? Okay.
Give me the money.
There you go. Thanks, Tim. Number 1, give me the money. So extended axles, tie rod ends, even the hardware. They use some of the best stuff. So grade 8 hardware, and you can see all the misalignment spacers. So this is, oh yeah, and you got longer brake lines. You got the actual springs, the shocks, and this is the bypass rack that gets welded up in here. So this rack, you see how we welded it up, allows you to run a secondary shock. That's how you run your bypass. The main one, the main coilover still goes in this bucket. The bypass one gets aligned here. This is the top hole. The bottom hole will go on this lower control arm. So the bottom hole goes here. So you have the 2 shocks that mount there. And so this is not even the craziest kit that SVC offers. SVC has a full long travel kit. So this is a mid-travel kit. So for SVC in their world, this is like middle of the line, but it's still a beautifully done kit. Don't get me wrong. It's a very expensive kit. So back to the truck. Now that you see Daniel's doing that, we mentioned that the front suspension is getting pushed out by 3 inches. So the wheel will now sit further out. In order to accommodate that, the front factory fenders wouldn't be sufficient. The tire would be poking out. So we went to ADV fiberglass, and we had their front and rear fenders installed. So this front fender pokes out 3 inches, 2 inches, I think, and rises 2 inches to get you more clearance. The back we've done as well, but now you see that the back, the wheel is a little more sunken in than it should be. But our solution to that is that we're gonna upgrade the axle, and that's not the only reason we're upgrading the axle, but when you're gonna go so hard up front and the suspension can do so much up front, you wanna make sure the rear suspension can follow through and complement the front. So these axle tubes, or these axles, will end up bending or warping. The tubes will actually bend under hard use off-road. So we're gonna get a Curry axle that's just completely beefed up and fortified that can take the abuse that this truck's gonna throw at it going off-road. And this system's gonna be torn out, and we're gonna do shocks through the bed with a bed cage. So this will all be redone as well. Rock sliders, so if you hit anything off-road, it protects the body. So Daniel's getting this stuff ready. He's marking all his points, and he's got the paint off this part of the frame. This is where he's gonna weld that bypass arm to. This is all the old components, so the front wheels and tires that came off. This is the front differential. While the truck was here and getting all this work done, we are upgrading the gears on it. So it's going to a 456, I believe. Front brake calipers. Again, he was running spacers before, but we're not gonna need those anymore. And up front, you see, just very clean looking. It has the SVC front bumper. Baja Designs lights. And this thing will be a beast. All right, guys, so that was it for today's walkthrough. We're really excited to get this thing worked on and finally completed. We're not 100% done, but we're getting there, and we're looking forward to getting the customer out on the trail to enjoy his new truck. That's it for this week. Let me know if you guys have any questions below, and I'll see you guys later.